all.
Okay.
It's was,
Right.
yeah, it's on its way.
Hey,
And so it's just plug and play.
some of those sections I listened to. I don't know. Plug and play in the world. It was spotty. It faded in and out. Plug and play was more.
Uh-huh. And that's because we were probably working off that one computer.
Yes. And it varied with how you were facing. And the nice thing is I could see you guys a lot. But the thing is with Zoom is it goes from the speaker to speaker, and there's always that lag. And I missed the first lip movements. I can't read your lips when you're not there. And when you got a postage stamp finish,
Right.
I can't see it.
Right, exactly.
It makes me extraordinarily crazy.
Yeah.
I finished up that at 2
Everybody
a.m.
else.
I finished that up at 2 a.m.
Oh, my God.
Well, I had a good nap when I went home.
Good.
I know there was just no way.
Well, hey, be glad, because when Thomas wanted to review the first one, was before I learned how to do all the SharePoint stuff, so I had to do it, you come in here. Just because I wasn't sure of the rules on it, and then they asked me, but it's just, I was all like, I was worried about it, I was like, it's in my custody, so how do I deal with that, so. At least it was easier for you guys, I could just make a SharePoint, you could.
Well, and
I know, I'm gonna move here so we can see each other, because we're kind of, it's just us, right?
you won't do that.
Sad? That's not
They probably don't want to look at.
Oh, come on, that's not fair. It's just when we're this way, it's just so much harder to converse.
I reached a point in life that I have to be about proud.
And you.
I keep getting the midget chair. It's cute. I like it. Yeah, there's something symbolic going on here.
Raise.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess for the rest, I didn't know there was a midget chair, so that's not hers. But it will be now.
It may not be permanently so though, right? Okay. All right.
But nothing here is so much now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Planting broccoli and seed. What peppers are we got? Potatoes. It's like you're on schedule.
No, I want to move here so we could see each other.
Okay.
Instead of being looking up and down and moving heads, that's all.
Can we get Leslie up on the big screen? No.
That's.
Hi Leslie, it's not true Leslie.
We don't need to be on Zoom, do we, for this?
No, I don't care.
No, you don't have to. Okay, thank you.
But it is a public issue.
It's okay, that's right.
Like screen on YouTube.
Okay.
Session.
Well, we're doing.
I'm sorry, it's okay.
Yeah, we're just not gonna be, it's not executive session.
Leslie, can you hear okay?
Oh, wait, you're muted, Leslie.
Okay, you're muted.
All right, well, I call this meeting to order. Have a roll call, please.
Mayor Bachman,
Here.
trustee Knudsen. Trustee Valentine.
Oh, come on.
Here.
I'm just gonna try and get one.
Trustee Marco.
Here.
Trustee Whitaker.
Let me see if I can get John. He said he was gonna try and be on this meeting when I spoke to him yesterday,
He's still in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. but they may be moving him, he's gonna be moving to acute rehab.
He was having issues with his trustee email yesterday. I'm not sure if it's fixed, but we can send him the meeting number if he needs that to log in.
Get him quickly. Nothing else, maybe we can get him on the phone. Not looking good.
Some therapy right now. That time of day.
No. All right. So she's not available. All right. So can we have approval of the agenda, please? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion passes. All right, so for discussion and decision of finalists for the town administrator position. So it seems like we have 4 candidates that we're definitely set on. They are Matthew Lawless, Eric Osterberg, Richard Olson, and Fulton Bear.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so the question is, do we want to invite them all? You want to keep them all? We want to eliminate any?
My take on it, I'm sure everybody else is gonna jump in with theirs. I picked Richard Olson as number 1 just because his experience, the fact that he's worked with the dystopian council and yet been successful. I really liked Eric Osterberg. I put him number 2. I would have put him number 1 because he's the most capable, but I'm worried that he'll get bored. I mean, he's so overpowered to us. And then Matt Lawless, number 3. I think Matt needs a job soon. Twice he asked about the timing on this. So he may be a fish that comes off the hook. And Coltenberg is the number 4 that could fit in easily. That's my take. And that match is actually what Dave suggests.
No, he switched it. Yes, Mr.
He has the numbers different, but the same thing.
Right, yeah. Okay, other people?
I would make my list too, but I think that I would change Mr. Olson for Mr. Osterberg, just switch those positions. And mainly, I think Mr. Olson is he's not gonna be here long. I think he's really ready to retire. And that's my thought. He'd be here a year or 2, and then we're gonna go through this again. One of the things that I want to see and kind of emphasize when we talk to people is that, you know, at the end of your term, we want, say, 120 days notice, and then you help us in the candidate search so that we're not doing this again. It's kind of weird to ask somebody to hire their own replacement, but if they give us that much notice, we're gonna have a lot of time to fix this. It's one of the things that I see. I'm a little, that's one of the things about Mr. Osterberg that kind of got me a little hesitant about him because he jumped jobs. But I've been to Klamath Falls, and Klamath Falls is, they call it Clan Falls.
Yeah.
And it is a horrendous place. It really is. It's eastern Oregon on steroids. And that's really the whole thing. And I was surprised that he even took a job there.
I know it's so white supremacist.
Oh my God. I've been there. I didn't live there, but I worked not far from there. And it's horrendous just going to the convenience store there. It's like Confederate flags, the whole bit. I mean, it's what Georgia was in the 1970s. Yeah. And he went there. So he has balls. Great. Great.
Thomas?
Yeah, I agree with the list in general. I'd say my top top picks in order are Mr. Lawless, just because he seemed like a experienced, but not too experienced. And capable. Second pick for me is Mr. Okerberg. He, if again, you know, I agree with Rick's assessment. If he's willing to stick around, basically, is my concern. I feel like if he's still in the beginning stages of his career, and he just seems like a powerhouse, and Paonia is pretty quiet, you know. So I could see him getting bored eventually. Mr. Olson, I think, is a little overqualified. But you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as our compensation and work can keep him interested. So those are my picks.
Okay.
And I would rather not rate anybody because I feel like
Okay.
I agree with the 4 people, but I am not going to rate them because I feel like we are going to learn so much more if we do offer them the finalist position and they decide to follow through with it. And at this point, we have 2 people in Colorado and 1 in Virginia and 1 in Texas. So if we vote to bring them all here, we at least need to make sure we have the funding. That's our budget in the admin.
Yep.
To be able to pay for flights. And then we'll have to do motel and maybe cars. For 2 people. I'm assuming because Matt Colton is in Eagle
Yeah. he's so
and
close.
Eric is, where is Eric in this, in Colorado
I
right
don't
now?
know if he's still in Ferguson area.
Yeah.
I suspect he is.
Yeah, so he is not, right, so he, yeah, so he's another one we'd have to fly in. So can our budget handle it?
Yeah, that was my big concern about all of this as well. I mean, the closest one is at the bottom of my list, but yeah, I think it would be, if we can afford it, I think we should bring them all in.
It's cheap compared to the consequences that people.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely. Okay,
And doing this again, it's a lot more expensive
Yeah.
to do this again.
I
I
agree.
think we've pretty much taken Leslie and worn her out.
Yeah. I don't, did you hear that? Are you worn out?
I can't hear, it's a little garbled as reported. But I heard my name.
They were.
It was all good.
So, what do you think about bringing them all here?
I think you need to up your odds of getting a manager and bring them all here.
Okay,
The thing is that you're paying at the low end of the spectrum right now, and you may have people drop out. So you need to kind of up your odds of being able to get somebody. You know, and I'm just going to caution again, Alice has shown up. Against having too high of expectations of managers. They don't. It's unusual that someone comes and stays for 20 years. So I think, you know, I hear the board continuing to have high expectations, but the management field is that, you know, for instance, somebody might take a job in a less than perfect place because they want to. We see it as public service. And then that may not work out for a long time. I know I've taken jobs in places that were known to be difficult to work with and done that knowingly, and they were. So, but I do think you have 4 strong candidates.
The other thing I'd like to say is Rick brought up some contractual things to be considered, but to me, the contract will be written for that person for hiring, and we have the benefit of Leslie's insight and Nick's.
right.
So I feel very confident that, you know, if we offer and somebody accepts, the contract can be quite tailored to the situation. So anyway, I feel I'm really thankful Leslie's with us and that Nick. too, and I hope we haven't burned either one of you out. I know Nick's not on there, but we appreciate all of your insight so much. And especially this second round. So thank you, Leslie, very much. And Nick, I know you can't hear me, but thank you, Nick, for all of his expertise.
Okay, so can we get a motion to offer finalist position to these four candidates?
So moved.
All right,
Second.
so we have a motion on the table to offer finalist position to Matthew Lawless, Eric Osterberg, Richard Olson, and Colton Burke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion passes. Who would like to inform them? Paige, do you want to take that on or shall I? I can inform them, and if you want to inform the others, or I can inform them all.
It's whether you want to be the good news or the bad news. You were the bad news giver last time. I'll be the bad news giver.
I will contact these people and let them know the finalists, we need to come up with some dates
Right.
as to when we will have our final interviews. So I will ask them for timeframes of when they can be here.
Do you want to give them a range based on our availability? Do you want to look at our calendars and see if there's a week or 2 weeks that we're all available?
That is a good idea. However, we have two people who aren't here.
Right. Because I'm afraid if you give open-ended,
Oh, right.
we could be all over the map.
Yeah, then they might look elsewhere.
I think it needs to be done expeditiously,
Sooner rather than later,
Yes.
that's for sure.
but I will be out probably for 2 weeks. Start next week,
And when's your surgery? When is your surgery, Rick?
next Wednesday,
Okay,
not tomorrow. but
Yeah. yep, Wednesday, the 29th.
And then I have physical therapy and it's gonna become complex and I can't drive. That's the other thing.
But you'll be in town,
I will be in town and physical therapy is right next door.
so.
So
what
I can
comes
walk.
first? You can walk or someone can come and pick you
I'm
up.
hoping I can walk, yes.
Okay,
Karen's had, she's had 2 knees.
right, so yeah, a walker.
Don't hesitate to call. You need.
And worst comes to worst, you know.
Might have to call one of you guys and add bigger on.
Right, better,
In
if you're
a
in
large vehicle.
a wheelchair, then we can wheel you in.
Yeah. I got a wheelchair. I should be able to walk.
Yeah.
Almost everybody can,
Okay,
but it's just gonna be difficult. I'll walk away.
so actually, if we didn't do it next week, if we tried for the first week in April,
That's
And
good for
maybe-
me.
yeah, John would be okay. You're not gonna.
I am
be
not
here?
going to be here on the 3rd and the 4th of April, the Monday and Tuesday.
And Dave is. Do we have any idea when Dave is back?
No.
Should be by then or he's lost.
I know he's out for the meeting on the 28th. He may be back by the 1st.
Should be.
And the 6th is out for me because I have another consult.
Okay,
So that's a week out.
Dave's doing long, so that'll be 10 days.
so the 34th, so we've got.
What about 12, 13, 14? Too long away.
From now to 16th. Second,
All right, well, that's way too far away.
I know, but I'm just saying that's the other outer boundary. So what about that first week in April beyond your 2 days, Paige?
I'm fine.
Like the 5th on?
Yep.
I have the 6th that I'm not available.
Okay.
So are you gone all day that day?
Yeah, I have to go to Grand Junction. And I'm not sure how long the appointment is. It's a surgical consult.
What
Yeah.
time?
I think it's 9 o'clock.
So if we did something in the
In the
afternoon,
Yes, like 1 o'clock to give me plenty of time.
okay,
Because it may be 10 before I get out and that's an hour and a half.
right,
So,
right. Okay, so maybe the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
How many days do we keep them entertained?
We did 2 last time, wasn't it? We paid for 2 nights so they could get here the night before and then they toured
Yeah, it
all
was
the
basically
facilities
one full day.
and then had the different panels. And then we interviewed them the next morning. So it seems like we interviewed them on a Friday last time.
I think that-
And they did all their others.
I've got the schedule right here.
You actually were able to announce your decision the day after you interviewed him. You had a special meeting after your guys' interviews, and then the next day was our meeting.
Yeah, so December 12th, they did the town tour, they did the one exercise, they did the citizen interview panel, and then did the citizen meeting for that evening. And then the next day, we did the board interviews in the morning.
Oh, it was Monday.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Way off.
we
on
did
that,
the
sorry.
citizen interviews in the morning and then,
Oh, that's right. They arrived on Sunday. And Monday they did the tours,
right,
but 2 days. 1 day to arrive and 2 days. And then they left the afternoon of the,
yeah, they left the afternoon of the 13th.
Do they all leave or anybody hang around
Well-
for a day to check things out?
Lives here, so it didn't matter, and Melissa left right after the end.
she had driven, if I remember.
Right, she had driven. So it was a 12-hour drive for her to get home.
So we need 2 days. And it's that 1 day is chock full, because then we had the
Right.
evening meet and greet and they did their presentations if we do all that again.
Right.
Which I thought the way we did it worked out really well.
Yeah,
You do a weekend so that more citizens can participate.
Also, if they have a job or something that gives them,
That works.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, yeah, it makes sense to be,
I hear you.
to make the process as accessible as possible. And it's, a weekend just makes sense for both our candidates and for the public and us.
well, the only difference is then you're making staff work all weekend.
That's, I'm sorry, this is the job. Like, that sucks, but this is a one-off, you know, this is not gonna happen every weekend. This is a very special event. It's gonna be very expensive. These guys are gonna be crossing the country. You guys and people who work for an afternoon. Not out of the question, right?
Otherwise a day off if we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time off, yeah.
Something on it doesn't mean that I have the time to do it. That's.
Exactly, yeah, I mean, well, we can make this easy.
So that what you're suggesting is that we do the big event on, say, Saturday, April 1st. Then the board interview on April 2nd.
I won't be here.
So,
I'm gone from the 28th to the 4th.
yeah, so it'd have to be the weekend of the 7th.
I mean, you don't have to have me if you have a quorum.
no, but we need you to do the interviews.
Yeah, we want you.
Well, I mean, but if you're coming down to a wire, you know, if you miss me, that's all right. And I
I
couldn't,
disagree, Paige. I think the whole board needs to be involved in
Okay.
this.
all right.
Absolutely.
I just, sorry to throw a wrench in the works.
No, and Dana Levesque made a point of this when I met with him the last time he was here. He said that a good candidate will make a judge about whether they want to be with the town or not if the whole board does not show up.
Okay, no, I read that too in the booklet. I agree. But if everybody else is here and only one outlier.
Well, and I can see if John can't make it because he's in a hospital bed.
Right.
But that's not the same as somebody on vacation.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I get it.
Is the 7th too far out?
And remember, that's Easter weekend,
But
9th, the 9th of April is Easter. So
that is.
I kind of think we should go back to the 5th, 6th and 7th personally.
Well, I think if we do it on 6 and 7,
Passover too begins.
Might be, because it'd be nice to get it as close as possible so that someone else doesn't grab it.
I could be back on the 4th if I had to be, if that would help.
so we could possibly do the 4th and the 5th, because if we do, because if we do the whole, the staff thing on the 4th, then you could be back and try for the evening thing, which is the open house and the presentation. So that would be the evening thing. If the staff is basically doing all the rest of that stuff
Right.
during the day, and then we could interview them on the 5th. And then Rick would be available. How does
The
that?
afternoon of the 6th, if we had a follow-up executive session.
Right, and we could do the 6th, so we could have an executive session the afternoon of the 5th. If we need to,
So we fly in the third then.
right,
Got it.
and then we're missing all the holidays.
Good. It's good they're not on April Fools.
My schedule. And they have rescheduled my April 6th to 13:15. Not 9:30.
Well, then we're scheduling around that completely.
Yeah, so the 6th is out for me.
Okay, so we're not gonna do, so we're gonna aim for the 4th and the 5th
Okay.
of April.
Have them fly in on the third,
Have them fly in on,
drive in, whatever they're doing.
yeah. So arrive on the 3rd. Yep. Yeah, basically on
So
4th.
what's our backup plan if we do not have all 4 available on those days?
Leslie recommended McGinnis as a backup.
No,
Lost all of them.
well, no, I mean that they all want to be finalists, but they're not all available on these dates. Do we want to try to accommodate them? Do we say we really need you to come then?
Leslie, what is your suggestion? If if we set these dates or they fly in on April 3rd. We do basically the tours and the staff interactions on the 4th and the community interaction on the 4th. Board interview them on the 5th. If they cannot accommodate these dates. Do we set up an entire backup plan on that? And try and shift them?
Or shift or take
Well-
some and others, reschedule others?
I would start with just seeing if they're available on that day. And then if they're not, maybe bring it up at the regular meeting about what you want to do with the other candidate. I mean, if you can get 3 people, I think it gets really awkward to start arranging for somebody to come in on a different date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would start there and if that problem arises, you could talk about it at your regular meeting, how you want to schedule that or not.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right. We will try for that.
So you'll call
I will call.
and I'll call the other 3.
Okay, and then I will let John and Dave know as well that this is our tentative plan. Okay,
If they stick around, I can take them fishing, right?
sure, Dave. Take them fishing.
Want me to bring them back?
Yes, Dave.
After we've interviewed them, there's this.
Not bringing them back. It's not a good idea. Okay. All right, anything else?
Yeah.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you at 1, Leslie? CIP, 1 o'clock?
Oh, 1 o'clock for water and sewer? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.